The reselling world is melting because eBay decided to open a GoFundMe account and ask sellers to donate to their cause. If you haven't heard already, eBay announced this week that starting in January, they are changing how promoted ad fees work. In this video, I'm going to share my initial thoughts and my initial plan on how I plan to deal with these changes that eBay just announced. A few months ago, eBay announced that they were going to put a spot on listings that we could insert our cost of goods. Well, what ended up happening was eBay looked at that and realized how much money some of us are actually making on these transactions. And they decided to make some changes because they want their fair share as well. Now, I don't actually know if that happened, but it is pretty funny to think about the fact that they may have started to see how profitable some of us actually are and said, hey, we can pinch these guys a little bit more. Let's turn up the heat on those promoted ad fees. So the change is actually fairly simple. The way promoted ads work currently is if a buyer clicks on a promoted ad and buys the item from the ad or any of your items from your store, you pay a promoted ad fee on that item that is sold, but it's connected to the buyer that originally clicked on the listing. Starting in January, eBay is changing this to if any buyer clicks on a promoted ad for your listing and then that item sells within 30 days, you have to pay an ad fee. So it's no longer connected to the actual buyer. So basically, if buyer A comes onto the platform, sees one of your promoted ads, clicks on it, looks at your item and says, no, I don't want that, and leaves the eBay platform, and then buyer B comes onto the eBay platform, finds that same item organically, never sees an ad, never clicks on the ad, but finds that item and buys that same item that buyer A had clicked on, you will pay a promoted ad fee just because buyer A clicked on it. Even though they didn't buy it, they didn't purchase anything from you, you're going to pay it for buyer B. This basically means that if you promote your items and anyone clicks on your promoted ad, that you will end up paying a fee. It doesn't matter who purchases it as long as someone clicked on the ad. There's really no way to know if promoted ad fees are even worth it anymore because it's no longer actually connected to the sale, it's just connected to the click. Now, I'm not going to dig too much further into detail on how this actually works because I actually think eBay did a pretty decent job explaining all the ways that they charge these promoted ad fees. So if you want, go ahead and check this out here. Now, there's no easy way around this, and I'm not defending eBay's actions at all. This is a bad change for sellers all around. If you use promoted ad fees, this is going to change how much you pay in promoted ad fees. And it may actually change our whole mindset on promoted fees and if they're even worth it anymore. eBay is simply trying to get more money out of the seller without providing any more service. This is super frustrating. I honestly don't know what else to say about it. However, being mad isn't going to change it, so we need to come up with a plan of attack. For me, one of the biggest hurdles that I'm going to have to overcome is understanding whether the promoted ad fee is even worth using moving forward. Me personally, I don't mind paying the promoted ad fee if I know it's actually converting to a sale. But if I'm just paying promoted ad fees for people to look at my items and leave, and someone else is finding it organically, then I should have never promoted it in the first place. And honestly, this is one of the most frustrating parts of selling on eBay, the complicated fees. Honestly, I wish eBay would just have one fee that they charge on all their listings and it was simple to understand. Instead, they try to hide all these fees. They try to get us with these different things like insertion fees and how many things you have. And if you have a store subscription and you pay this percentage on this item and this percentage on this item, it's just overly complicated. And I think they do it on purpose because a lot of us don't even realize how much money we're handing over to eBay because there's no easy way to tell. Most people still don't even know that they pay fees on the whole purchase price of the item, including taxes and shipping. Most people still don't know that. The casual user of eBay that's just selling a few things around their house, they think that they're paying the 12 or 13% and they don't understand all the hidden fees, and eBay is counting on this. Now, I've been reading a lot of comments on YouTube and on Facebook posts, and it seems like a lot of people are simply saying, well, screw it, I'm not going to use promoted ad fees anymore. And honestly, that was my first thought too. If I can't track where my spend is going and if it's actually converting to sales, then why would I ever spend money on this? And to be perfectly honest, eBay isn't forcing us to pay this. Now, there is the argument of your items don't sell unless they're promoted. But the fact of the matter is we do sell items organically. You just don't sell them as fast because they're not being seen as often by buyers. However, we do have the option of just not paying this fee. This is a completely optional fee from eBay. And that's why I'm saying eBay started a GoFundMe. This isn't anything other than eBay simply asking sellers to donate to their platform and hoping that because we donate and we're so kind to eBay that they will send some sales our way. As I've previously stated in other videos, I put promoted ads on all of my items. I just do a flat rate right across the board on every single item. I know this is super controversial and there's a lot of you guys out there that are like, why would you put a promoted ad fee on an item that sells super fast? Well, for me, I want it to sell even faster. I want these items gone as quick as possible. I have the margins for it. I make sure that when I pick up an item that I know exactly how much I'm going to pay in fees. And one of the fees I calculate right into that is my promoted ad fees. So I know I have the margins there. Now, this doesn't mean that you have the margins there to promote your items. You have to figure out what you're spending and what you're selling the items for to determine if you actually have the margins to even be able to promote or sell your items on eBay in the first place. I do think that this change is going to put a lot of people out of business and it's going to kill the people that don't know how much they're actually paying in fees. So if you're one of those people, there's nothing wrong with it. But today is the day that you need to understand how much you're actually paying in fees. Go check out this eBay calculator here and then go check out this video here where I break down how to use the eBay calculator so you can understand how much profit you're actually making from the transactions. This calculator is awesome because it factors in the fact that we're paying fees on the shipping, on the taxes, and you can actually get a full understanding of where your profitability is sitting so you know which items to pick up and which items to pass over. And to everyone out there that's saying right now that they're just going to stop promoted ads, that they're just going to turn them off, that we should all get together and we should all just agree not to promote our items, if only the world worked like that. Even if you could convince 95% of sellers on the eBay platform to not promote their items, that other 5% would make an absolute killing. eBay would be sending all of the traffic right to that 5% of sellers, and those sellers would get all the sales. We would start to see that, and slowly we would start to promote our items again. This game has already started. There is no turning back at this point. Let me make this clear. I'm not on team eBay. I'm not on team promoted ads. I really don't care what most people do. However, if you think by not promoting your items and having some of your fellow friends join you on Facebook and say, we're just not going to promote items, if you think that there's not a seller sitting there saying, good, you're not going to promote your items, I will continue to promote mine and I will get all the sales. And that's exactly how this is going to work. If you don't have the margins or the demand on your items, this is going to put you out of business. So what am I going to do? Well, honestly, I'm not going to do anything right now. This is too far out to actually know how it's going to be implemented, and I don't know how it's going to affect my business and the items I sell. We all sell different items. Some items need to be promoted, some items don't. I know plenty of people that sell on the eBay platform that never promote anything, and they do just fine. So for me right now, I'm not changing anything. And in fact, when this change rolls out, I still plan on promoting all of my items and seeing how it affects my sales. I personally know that over 50% of my sales already come from promoted ads. So the majority of items I'm selling, I'm already paying a promoted ad fee on. So this doesn't change a whole lot for me. It's going to increase the amount of fees that I'm paying, but when I purchase an item, I make sure that I have that margin built in there, and I don't really care whether the item sells promoted or doesn't sell promoted. I don't list an item, promote it, and then hope that it's not seen by a promoted listing. I promote my items to sell them, to move them fast, and that fee is already baked into it. Yes, it's a huge bonus when I sell something and I don't have to pay the promoted ad fee, but I'm putting it on there assuming I'm going to pay it, knowing that I have the margins to cover it. The one place this is going to make a change for me is when I go to accept offers. Currently, I could have received 2 offers for the same price from 2 different buyers, and one I might decline and the other one I might accept. And it just depends on where they're located and if it came from a promoted listing or not. The buyer that sends me a $20 offer on an item that is located close to me and didn't come from a promoted listing, I'm more likely to accept that. Where the buyer who sent me the same offer for $20, but I know I have to pay a promoted ad fee and I have to ship it across the country, I might counter on that one or even decline that offer. So this is going to make it more difficult for me to accept offers because I'm not sure if eBay's actually going to show us whether this is going to come from this transaction where someone else clicked on the promoted ad fee. I'm not quite sure how this is going to be implemented yet, but I'm hoping that we'll still be able to see if the offer came from a promoted listing or not. My current plan is to just continue doing what I'm doing, give it a couple weeks, give it a couple months, however long it takes for me to get some data to look and see how much extra this is going to cost me. There's no way around this. I'm going to be paying eBay more in fees. But do I need to make adjustments? Am I going to roll back how much I'm promoting my items? Am I going to roll back which items I'm promoting? Or am I going to focus on better items that sell for more money and have more margins? It's just going to depend on how much this affects my business. And without actually going through the process, I don't know. We can look at other countries that have gone through this process. However, no one stores the same. No one sells the same items. No one pays the exact same cost of goods on their items. So it's really difficult to actually nail down how much more we're going to pay. So for me, this is just a wait and see game. I'm going to continue to go out and find the best items I can at the best prices because that gives me the best chance of avoiding these fees. Not only do great items sell without promoted ads, but if they have great margins and I paid low prices for them, they give me the room to pay for those promoted fees. And I think that's all this boils down to. This is going to eliminate a lot of sellers that don't have things squared away, that don't know what their margins are, that don't understand what items they're picking up, and they're picking up a bunch of stuff people don't want, and they're having to promote it at really high rates. And then they're still sitting there saying, I hope it doesn't sell under the promoted ad fee because I don't want to pay a 10% promoted ad fee on that. They're hoping, they're praying, they're guessing. They don't know their actual numbers. If you take anything away from this video, please go learn your numbers, go learn your margins, and see exactly how much money eBay's taking from you before you go and promote yourself right out of business.